About 4 or 5 years ago, there was a situation that took place at Ubisoft where a few executives were being accused of not being very appropriate at work. Fast forward about 5 years, and here we find ourselves facing the actual case. And holy crap, this looks really bad for Ubisoft. What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of Smash JT. These three executives specifically that are being called to question at Ubisoft are about to be facing their trial with some of the ridiculous acts that they were requiring of their employees over at Ubisoft France. And it's always funny to me how it seems to be the people that are projecting the most onto other people that always seem to be the ones that have the most skeletons to hide. JT. Hit that subscribe, give me a like, and check out smashjt.com for the full article that I wrote breaking down this entire current situation. We have Ubisoft lawsuit exposes years of sexual harassment. Oh, the irony. Ubisoft, once considered a titan in the game industry long ago, I know, but stay with me here, is now facing quite the reckoning with a scandal that has allegedly festered for years behind the scenes. On March 10th to 14th, 2025, three former senior executives, Serge Hascoët, François, and Guillaume Patrux, will all come together and stand trial in the Bobigny criminal court, accused of systematic sexual and moral harassment that has permeated throughout the French gaming giant. The irony here is how the moral grandstanding from companies like Ubisoft always seem to be the ones projecting their own insecurities on society at large. And it's like, without fail, every single time, this is what seems to happen. The case first erupted back in 2020 following a wave of anonymous testimonies on X and has been brought to light by investigative reports by Libération and Numerama. And this information comes from us from the source of AFP via France 24, and it was all translated to English on Google Translate, and I did my best with the information to get it across in an English article that I could understand as best as I could with what's going on with this. Because holy crap, is it bad? Back when the allegations first erupted, Ubisoft made a public statement stating, concerning recent allegations raised against certain Ubisoft team members, we want to start by apologizing to everyone affected by this. We are truly sorry.
We're sorry.
We are dedicated to creating an inclusive and safe environment for our teams, players, and communities. It is clear we have fallen short of this in the past. We must do better.
We're sorry.
We have started by launching investigations into the allegations with the support of specialized external consultants. Based on the outcomes, we are fully committed to taking any and all appropriate disciplinary action.
I'm deeply sorry.
As these investigations are ongoing, we can't comment further. We are also auditing our existing policies, processes, and systems to understand where these have been broken down, and to ensure we can better prevent, detect, and punish inappropriate behavior. We will be sharing additional measures that we are putting in place with our team in the coming days. Our goal is to foster an environment that our employees, partners, and communities can be proud of, one that reflects our values and that is safe for everyone.
We're sorry.
The initial fallout was almost immediate, with Hascoët, Ubisoft's former creative director and number 2 in command, resigning, while François and Patrux were dismissed for serious misconduct. Now, fast forwarding to years after this alleged toxic workplace behavior, they are now finally going to be forced to answer for their actions in the court of law. The allegations against François, who served as Ubisoft's vice president of editorial, are particularly disturbing. Testimonies from the plaintiffs paint quite the horrifying picture of the workplace environment that he fostered there. His behavior had reportedly included publicly playing pornos at full volume, forcing surprise kisses on employees, and degrading colleagues with insults like bitch, ugly, and slut. One incident even described him coercing a newly hired employee into doing a handstand in the office while wearing a skirt for everyone to see. In another, he allegedly tied an employee to a chair, placed her in the elevator, and sent her to another floor. These kind of actions sound more like frat hazing than any kind of actual professional environment. And this is the issue that you get with the gaming industry, where typically, it's counterculture, quirky people going in, not really understanding a professional environment. And then you put some of these people in charge and they start doing things like this. And you're like, holy crap, is this an episode of The Office or is this real life? Because this kind of stuff should not be happening.
Kelly, how are you?
I just had the longest meeting.
Oh, welcome to my convenience store. Would you like some googie?
Most disturbingly, François is also facing attempted sexual assault charges after reportedly trying to forcefully kiss an employee during a Christmas party while colleagues held her down at Ubisoft. You know, the arbiter of truth with DEI and putting a front-facing forward image to everyone about how to be virtuous and good to the community. This is what's happening inside the walls over there. The toxic culture didn't stop at François, though. Hascoët, who had immense power within the walls of Ubisoft, stands accused of making sexually inappropriate remarks and racist comments. One example that was cited was after the investigative report found him involving a Muslim employee after the 2015 terrorist attacks, asking if she subscribed to the ideology of the Islamic State. He also allegedly subjected her to Islamophobic harassment, such as things like changing her computer wallpaper to images of bacon sandwiches and placing food at her desk during Ramadan. The guy sounds like a real piece of work, to be honest. Looking at the situation for what it is wild to me that this was able to not just be isolated to one executive, but multiple. It speaks to a much larger problem at Ubisoft with the level of acceptance of what these executives were allowed to do. The third defendant, Patrux, a former game director, also faces charges of moral harassment, rounding out what appears to be, at least on the surface here, a deeply entrenched pattern of workplace abuse. The real horror of this case isn't just the actions of a few men, but more so Ubisoft's complete failure to stop any of it from happening in the first place. According to the investigation, dozens of witnesses were heard over the years, yet many declined to file complaints, fearing retaliation from the entire game industry on the whole, which is something that I talk about a lot on this channel, and I found out myself personally, where if you dare call out a game company for anything, you are immediately blacklisted by most of them. It is a cult mentality, and if you do not accept and completely be indoctrinated with what they push on you, they want you out. The common thread about these testimonies, Ubisoft's human resources department knew all about it initially and still did nothing. The report states that HR at Ubisoft demonstrated inertia despite being repeatedly alerted of all the misconduct, which aligns with what the industry watchdogs and employee advocates have long accused gaming companies of: turning a blind eye to toxic behavior, so long as the perpetrators hold enough power. Again, not surprising in the current environment of the blackball industry, where everyone needs to be very submissive to make sure they have a job the next day. The Solidaris Informic Union, which spearheaded the first legal complaints back in 2021, denounced the workings of a system which manipulates, exhausts, and crushes the company's workers. One of the 9 plaintiffs back then detailed multiple humiliating acts and remarks which caused significant psychological repercussions. Reading into this situation further is pretty screwed up, to be honest. Despite the overwhelming testimonies from these employees, Hascoët continues to deny any wrongdoing. His lawyer, Jean-Guillaume Patrux, released a statement claiming he categorically denies having harassed a single one of his colleagues, that this is all just one coerced event of everyone making these allegations up over the years, and he did nothing wrong. Which, I mean, it's possible, but at the same time, if there's a long list and laundry list being accused with HR doing nothing as well, you gotta wonder at some point, who's actually being accountable in all this? The case here is just the latest in an extremely long line of scandals that I've been seeing exposing the gross underbelly of the gaming industry's rampant issues with workplace misconduct. Ubisoft had already suffered some significant reputational damage back when these allegations first came out in 2020, but the trial here in 2025 is only going to serve as the definitive test whether justice will truly be served or if the industry will continue to shield shield the abusers. And it's like, if there's nothing more that could potentially be going wrong for Ubisoft, here we go, a near 5-year-old case coming forward and happening right now as Ubisoft itself is burning to the ground. It's like, for Ubisoft, when it rains, it pours, and they have no one to blame but themselves for getting themselves in this situation. Anyways, I'm going to leave it there. If you guys want more information, check out smashjt.com. I will link this entire article in the description below. If you appreciate what I'm doing, hit that join button. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, you stay smashing.
It's most definitely not my job. I work with teams around the world. I nourish their mature creative. I feed them inspiration. I want to empower teams to make video games a more impactful media.
Smash it, Smash